I'm Elizabeth Lincecum, Communications Director at the North Carolina Institute for Constitutional Law. Welcome back to our series, Cornerstone Commentaries. Today our guest is Justice Robert F. Orr, Executive Director of the Institute, who will discuss the ratification of the state's first Constitution.
It was 234 years ago tomorrow, December 18th, 1776, that the very first Constitution for the state of North Carolina was adopted. This all came about as a result of the meeting in Philadelphia in July of 1776, in which the representatives of the 13 colonies, obviously including North Carolina, severed ties and declared their independence from the Crown and from the government of Great Britain. The delegates from North Carolina came back to our state with the principal responsibility of having an election of delegates to meet and create the very first Constitution for our state. And so the notice went out for the election, and I always like to relate the fact that they included in this the statement that the state constitution was the cornerstone of all law. The delegates came to Halifax in eastern North Carolina in November, first worked on a Declaration of Rights or Bill of Rights that set out many of the very same guarantees to our citizens that we have today in our modern Constitution. They then set out the framework for our government and adopted the North Carolina Constitution on December 18th, 1776. I tell folks that's 11 years before there was even a United States Constitution. We have a lot to be proud of with the history in North Carolina, and particularly that Declaration of Rights. It was based in large part on principles enunciated in the Magna Carta, in the British Declaration of Rights from, I think, 1689, and from other colonies that had adopted declarations of rights like Maryland and Virginia. It is the principle of a limitation upon government, a guarantee of rights to our citizens, and it's these very principles and limitations on government that we seek to enforce and uphold today.
And remember, the Constitution is the cornerstone of all law.